Hi guys! What I want my channel to be is to have some beauty and some hauls and things like that, but I also want it to be a place where we can post and have a conversation about weight loss. A lot of people struggle with weight loss, and I think it's a pretty big topic, so it's something that definitely affects me and my life. So this is some place where I want to be able to have the discussion about weight loss and working out and food tips and just different things that I've picked up along the way. So one of the things that's definitely going to affect me during my weight loss journey, and I wanted to just go ahead and make a video to cover the whole topic, is that I have PCOS. So some of you may know what PCOS is and some of you may not. So it is PCOS, which stands for polycystic ovarian syndrome. What that means is poly, which means many, cystic ovarian. So you have a lot of cyst on your ovaries. This can have so many different symptoms. One thing about PCOS is it's very hard to diagnose. It is also hard to pinpoint this is the problem because you have this, this, and this. There are three main symptoms for PCOS. And the funny thing is that you only have to have two of those three symptoms to have actually PCOS. One of the things is having cysts on your ovaries. You can actually have PCOS and not have cysts on your ovaries. Another one is a higher testosterone level. I have a few things on my phone here, but one of them is just having a higher testosterone level. So we'll get into some of the other things that can cause, but that messes with a lot of your hormones and different things like that. The third one is insulin resistance. So you don't have diabetes. You don't necessarily have to. You can. You could also be considered like a pre-diabetic, but some people only have two. Some people have all three of those. I have been told that I do have all three, but I don't necessarily know about the cyst because I was diagnosed when I was like 16. And I'll probably do a separate video on my individual journey. Right now it's just kind of a what is PCOS. So some of the other things is menstruation problems. Basically, can't say that word. Your period. You can have such a wide range of having no period or having a constant period all the time. I am more of I don't have a period. And when I do, it's very heavy. But I also know people who have PCOS and they literally are on their period for 6 months at a time. And it's very heavy, clotty. I know that's very personal, but that's just part of PCOS and what it is. Another thing is they're very irregular. So you may ovulate and you may not. So tracking your ovulation can be an issue because you just might not ovulate. You can have a very long cycle. I've heard of people having like 90-day cycles. They're regular for them. So everybody is different. And that's one reason that it's so hard to diagnose is that so many people can have such a wide variety of symptoms and they can vary so much. So it's really hard to kind of pinpoint exactly what it is. Another one is hair loss, and that goes with the testosterone thing. We have kind of the male pattern baldness. You can thin just anywhere that a man would thin. Sometimes you don't have it and sometimes you do. That goes with all of these symptoms. Also, you can have hair in not so feminine hair places. You can have it on your face. You can have it on your chest, your back, your butt, your stomach, your fingers, your toes, all of that. Some people get it in one certain area and some people get it in other areas. Some people don't have this issue at all. So one thing is when you do have this issue is that the hair is very, very coarse and thick. So plucking it, pulling it, waxing it can be very, very difficult. A lot of people use so many different kinds, and it's just all going to depend on what is right for you. Getting laser hair removal, not always an option for us. Number one, it's very pricey. So if you do have the extra money, go for it. But it's also going to be really painful, and you're going to have to go for a lot of sessions to get it, and it's not going to stay gone. All the people that I know that have had it, it hasn't stayed gone for very long at all, if it even worked for them. So I have heard, I don't know this, but I've heard that you have to be very, very fair skinned and have really, really dark hair for it to even be a possibility that it is going to work. So having acne and oily skin is another symptom. A lot of times people are diagnosed when they're teenagers. So yeah, especially teenager, has acne and they have oily skin, but this is just kind of like persistent, and you have it into adulthood, and it just, everybody is different, but it's another testosterone hormone level thing. So I'm looking at my phone for my list. Fertility problems. This is probably one of the most heart-wrenching symptoms. People can deal with the hair, they can deal with being overweight, they can deal with all that, but the fertility problems is where it can get really, really rough. Like I said, some women do not ovulate, and that's just all women in general. But some women do not ovulate and they do not drop that egg. So that becomes issues. Thankfully, there are different medications that you can take to make you ovulate, but not having a period for so long, it is what you need to have in order to have a baby. There are women out there who, don't, and that's perfectly fine, but that is one of the hardest to deal with, I think. Also being insulin resistant, and you have too much insulin, and it can cause obesity. It can also cause skin tags, but it can cause obesity. You just don't, your body doesn't deal with things the way that it's supposed to. You're not always a diabetic. Sometimes you're pre-diabetic, or some women, like I said, don't have these symptoms at all. But the insulin resistance, there is medicine that you can take for that. You can take metformin, and I'm not currently on metformin, but I definitely need to get back on it. But it makes you kind of sick, and you can be really nauseous, or you can have to go to the bathroom a lot. Really, you have an upset stomach all the time until you get your diet down right. And that's kind of each individual person, once again, is different. So some people have no problems and some people have a lot of problems. So another one is breathing problems while you sleep. Sorry, my dog's getting into something over here. Hudson, no. While you are sleeping, you can have breathing problems, sleep apnea. You can snore a lot, and a lot of times that is just linked to being overweight in general. So another one is depression or mood swings. That's a hormonal thing, but that's also kind of like, I'll think of all the symptoms that I've just told you about: the obesity, the being overweight, the hair, you can't have a baby. Some you can, but you're having trouble to have a baby. Just the stress of wondering, am I going to be able to get pregnant? I don't know that depression is necessarily a symptom from PCOS, but I think it's definitely a symptom from all the other symptoms that you have. Just kind of an overall lethargic and tired and different. And there are just so many, like when you try to look up all the different symptoms of PCOS, the list can go on and on and on, because there's not certain set symptoms. Everybody is different. So sometimes, oh yeah, well this person has really dark circles like I do. I've talked to a lot of other people and they're like, oh yeah, I have really, really dark circles too. Is that from being overweight? Is that from, just the PCOS? What is that from? We don't really necessarily always know. So that's that. But one of the statistics that I found when I looked this up was 1 in 10 women suffer from PCOS. And that's a lot. You think of 10 women that one of them could possibly have PCOS. And the even funnier thing and heart-wrenching thing is that 70% of women who have PCOS don't know. When we look back in my family history, we think that my mom probably has PCOS, and we think that my grandma might have had PCOS just because of the excess hair and the issues. She had had miscarriages, and my mom had had a miscarriage, and my mom had lost a significant amount of weight, both when she got pregnant with me and my brother. So did she have PCOS and she just didn't know what it was? Because it is hereditary, and we just don't really know a whole lot about it. So one of the things is awareness and knowing, and then trying to beat it. The best thing that you can do is to try to maintain your diet and maintain your weight. And that is going to help with every single one of those symptoms. So, like I said, I'll do another video. I may do it next, kind of with my PCOS journey and where I'm at and what's going on with that. So, but that is what PCOS is. If you guys have any questions, you can leave a comment down below. I may not know. I don't know everything about it. I've been diagnosed for a while, but I just kind of brushed it off. So I'm learning myself. And if you have PCOS, leave me a comment, watch my other videos about it, and, see if you can relate. But maybe if I said something wrong, let me know in the comments. If you suffer from one and not the other, let me know. And if you had never heard of PCOS, now you know about it. So, all right, well, I look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Thanks. Have a good night.